Hello again! It's been a while since I did my last art video, and my doujin is currently at the point in the story I cannot comfortably show any part of the editing process on YouTube, so I thought, why not do something I wanted to do for quite a while now, but never had the motivation to start with, which is updating my model with higher resolution textures and potentially also adding some more detail here and there. And it also supports my game development, since my vTuber model will be the basis for the animated character art of my Hot Spring Manager game. And I'm catching two birds with one stone here. I made a screenshot of my vTuber model in the rest position in front of a white background, so we can talk about some of the details I'm going to fix now. And the first thing is, when I zoom to 100%, and watch this in true resolution, you can already see how blurry it is. And this is because when I made these textures, I was very inexperienced with Stable Diffusion and didn't know the usual upscaling techniques that I am using today. So we are going to more or less replace every texture sooner or later. But since this is just a short video, I need to prioritize some stuff here. And I will start with the hair, which I think is the most blurry part of this model. And I will also update the clothing textures, because those are the least moving parts in this model, so they should be relatively fast and easy to fix. And the face will potentially be in another video, because the face needs more dedication to it, because there are so many moving parts there. Okay, let's get started. This is a screenshot I did with some elements disabled. For example, I disabled the red neckerchief of this character, and I also disabled the chest, because chest is a separate part, and doing it like this makes it much easier, because Stable Diffusion can obviously render a flat-chested character just fine. So I can shortcut this here and create the body separate from the chest. And let's do this. I open up Stable Diffusion and do a few worlds and do some in-painting. And let's see what the result will be. I got a very crisp and detailed outline that I like a lot. So if I zoom to 100%, you can immediately see the difference in detail. So if I disable this layer, you can see the old image and the new image, and the difference is huge. So yeah, we're going to start with the hair, and you can already see how much cleaner and crisper the outlines are. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use the eyes as well, because I like what's going on with the iris here. This is for a later point. For now, I will just need the hair and cut it out. And we don't need to care about some messed up details here, like the ears not making sense, etc. This is something we can ignore, because we only want to cut out the hair for now. And we also will use the shirt at some point, where I need to do some adjustments. For example, I need to remove this button here and this, and I need to cut out the arms so that they are separate parts. And we also need to cut the hair into different parts, which I'm going to do next. So the first step was removing the background, and I used the BGBy tool that I showed on my channel a few days ago, and this was the direct output of the tool. And as you can see, it's like 95% there. I just had to fix some stuff in this area here that I manually removed, and I also alpha selected the entire layer and extended the selection a little bit to remove the white parts of this outline that were still there. And after doing that, I basically got a clean outline, and then I could cut out just the hair part, because it was the only part of this image that I wanted to have for my first editing step. And after some manual cleaning and redrawing of the outlines, I had this layer. And on the next step, I had to cut this part into 3 different layers, one holding only the frontal layer of the bangs, one holding the side layer of the bangs, and the third layer is going to be something I didn't have on my model so far, but I'm going to introduce, which is this little hair strand that you can see here. And if I show all 3 layers together, then I got the combined haircut image. Neat. So I opened up my old spreadsheet, and just to give you a quick comparison between the old texture and the new one, I'm going to load in the frontal hair layer. And as you can see, it's like quadruple the size of the old one, so this will be a huge step up in quality. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough space on my old spreadsheet to hold the new textures, so I created a new spreadsheet for just the haircut textures, and I am very curious how it looks in-game. So let's hop into Godot and try these out. As you can see on screen right now, the old textures from the spreadsheet are gone, so they are no longer visible. We need to remap those. So let's adjust the UV mapping of the front hair and side hair polygons next. And in the UV editor, I quickly need to adjust the position. And let's rescale it to fit the new dimensions. Like this. It might be possible that I need to do some manual adjustments. For example, this polygon here. All right. So we copy the UV to the polygon data. And now we have the texture. Now we need to properly fit in the new texture. So let's adjust the scaling a little bit. And this should be the general position. So I repeated the process for the side bangs. Then I did the same for the shadows. And on the last step, I added this extra hair strand here that we didn't have before and attached it to the left front bang bone. I didn't use the center bone because if I used the center bone, then this hair strand wouldn't move separately from the frontal bangs. And I want this to move slightly different from the lower part. So I attached it to the left bone and the result was pretty good already. So if the turn animation is played, you can see that there is a slight difference between the movement of the center strand and the extra strand. So it looks a bit more natural this way. That's still something I don't like because when I move the head entirely to the right side, then there's this ugly line here. We want to fix that by adjusting the texture measurements in this area a little bit. And if I turn to the left side, I have the same problem here. This one part here should extend more towards the top side. So this is something we have to fix in the texture itself and not in the mapping. So I did a few more adjustments. I removed some of the outlines in this upper section so that the front bangs blend better with the side bangs. I also adjusted the bone movement a little bit so that when I turn the head to the left and right, the shape looks correct and not deformed. And I think this turned out pretty well. So let's continue with the clothing next. So I went ahead and cut the shirt into different pieces, and you can see those pieces here. So there's the regular shirt. I added a few folds manually down below to give it a little bit more depth. Then I copied this shirt part and created a backside for it by just using the blur tool and blurring it a little bit on this side so that I can layer this behind the front side of the shirt so that I can attach the arm between the sandwich pieces that I have here. Then there are the arms, the sleeve, and the inside of the sleeves, and the collar with the inside of the collar. And then there's the chest part. And after exchanging the textures and updating the UV coordinates for all the textures, I have this stitched together now, and we can compile this and check it out in animation. I'm very excited to try it out. To wrap this video up, let's compare the two models. This is my old model, and this is the new model. And I am very happy with the results. The textures look so much cleaner and crisper now. And I also had the opportunity to sneak in some neat little detail that the old model didn't have. And this one matches the splash page I use for my video thumbnails much better. And yes, I know there will be like one guy in the comments going, "Ooh, Garlic, your model makes me uncomfortable watching." Jeez, man, I already turned down the exposure like 50%. Let me have this. So anyway, I can't wait to update all the other parts in the future, which unfortunately I won't have the time for in the upcoming week because I want to focus on my doujin and more devlogs. So anyway, that's it for today. See you again, potentially Saturday, with a new devlog video. Bye bye!